looks like we're good. So we'll start now. Good morning, everyone. Calling the meeting of the Blighted Property Review Committee for the City of Williamsport to order for our advertised November 16th meeting. We do have a quorum. I think Mrs. Wilson is the only member of our committee who's not here. I don't know what the status is, Mr. Nara, whether Mrs. McDermott is continuing to serve on this, or if there's someone else from the zoning hearing board that has been selected in her place. But or if the meetings are the wrong time for her, again, we'll accommodate her, because we certainly don't mean for that to happen if she's got a professional obligation.
I did speak with her, and I believe she is going to be stepping down. She's going to notify me on Monday.
Okay.
I'm also talking with the zoning hearing board, because at this point in time, we have Mary Lou Baldy's is going to step down from the zoning hearing board. So we're doing some restructuring with that, and we'll appoint someone to the blighted property at that point, that if Janet cannot participate.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's disappointing. I know, especially, I mean, both those women have a lot of expertise there, and so that'll be, it's a lot to learn to be on the zoning hearing board. So
right. Well, we're going to retain, I believe we're going to retain Janet on the zoning hearing board, but we are losing Hannah Darrow and Mary Lou Baldy's.
Okay.
We do have two people identified that will go before council for the zoning hearing board. Once we do a reorganization, then I will select someone if Janet does not elect to stay with the blighted property and just with the zoning hearing board.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so for our first matter on the agenda today will be the approval of the minutes from August 17th of 2022. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Moved.
And a second? Second from Mrs. McDonald. Any discussion on the minutes? Corrections, issues, concerns? Everyone's shaking their head no. So any negative votes on approval of the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Okay, the next subject on the agenda is the property at 513 7th Avenue. Mr. Nar.
You know, what we I've been working on is the property at 513 7th Avenue. I know there was an issue with identifying the individual, the owner, getting in contact with him to let him know that it's on the blighted property. He since has been notified. He also has been into the office and has applied for permits. Myself and the interim BCO was out on site, and we're awaiting some engineers, some drawings and sketches in that point, but he has applied for building permit, and he has already fixed some of those issues up with the 513 property. So there is a permit pending. We just need some additional drawings requested by the BCO at this point in time.
Okay. And I think that before we get into other questions from the committee on this property, this is one of those situations where, because we meet so infrequently and this is not our area of subject matter expertise, it would be nice to have like something where we could see what the status of 513 7th Avenue was here to date, because I don't have these addresses memorized. So can you understand where we as a committee were on 513 7th Avenue? And then I think having some sort of publicly accessible document that we can also reference these meetings would be huge.
And what I am working on, again, I apologize, I'm basically doing two different positions. I have created, working on creating an Excel document, as well as, which would be read only for you guys to say, hey, here's what's out there, here's where I'm at. That way you can track and say that, okay, for example, that you've seen that I was out at 513 with the owner, met with the owner, and I can send that to you. So that way, when we do have our meetings, we're kind of ahead of the ball game. I am working on that, and I assure you by December meeting, you will have that Excel spreadsheet.
That's awesome. I think one of the columns, if it could have it, which would be helpful, I think, for all of us, is, since everyone has kind of web access, is the link to the county map for that property. So we can see where it is in the city. And you can also usually, if you go in the property record, you can see pictures. They may not be current, but at least it gives you a good sense and reminder of what that property was.
Okay. I'll work on that.
It's a quick search. You know how to do it on the county map, but I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Okay, that's great. All right. So they came in, but what was our previous action on 513 7th Avenue?
We were still trying to serve him. That was basically where we were at. We were waiting to serve him, and I finally got a hold of him.
Okay.
And he came in, applied for the permit. He does have his letter. And at that point, like I said, we have sat down with him, with the BCO, out on site. He needs to provide us with some sketch drawing, and a tentative permit has been applied for. We just need those drawings so we can move forward, issue the permit, and start the inspections on the property.
So we have not certified that property as blight to date.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So basically your recommendation is that we kind of keep an eye on it, but not move forward with a certification of blight for that property.
That is correct.
So there's no action required from us at this meeting today then?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's move to the next property, which is 1524 Memorial Avenue. Mr. Nar.
Well, what this property is, 1524 as well as 1526 Memorial Avenue, is a property that we were looking to put on the blighted property. There was no action taken. And the reason why there was no action taken is because there was a court date set up between the owners of the property and the insurance. They went to court with the insurance company, and they requested us as a stay of putting them on the blighted property. November 7th, the court did hear the case. They are now waiting for the judge's determination rolling as far as how they are going to proceed. Once we have that, I spoke with them, and I'm hoping to have something back in for the December's meeting. But at this point in time, that's basically where you guys had stood. We were waiting for the November 7th hearing. There was a docket number. They did hear the case. I did speak with them, and they're waiting for the judge to make that ruling to determine financially how much what they're going to get and things of that nature, so that they could start the repairs. So it would be the same thing as the previous item is a stay for that and take no vote to put that on the blighted property.
By recollection, this is I guess on the north side of Memorial. It's like a beige building. It's a large building, maybe a double or a triple, and it had a fire, I think, and there were some boarded up windows. Is that correct? Yeah,
that is correct. It is boarded up and everything. There was a fire, but the owners were in court with litigation with the insurance company.
Okay. All right. So again, you're recommending no action at this time. Kind of let's keep an eye on this again, because this is there's bigger fish to fry with the courts. So,
that is correct.
Okay, fair enough. No action on subject 3. Subject 4 is a series of properties that I think are adjacent to one another, if I recall correctly. And those are 1455, 1459, 1461, 1463, 1465, 1471, and 1479 West 4th Street. Mr. Nar.
That is correct. These properties are just north of Rose Street and where the old, I believe, is Seawald Laboratories used to be. So they're all in a stretch of properties up there. They are in very disrepair. They are vacant. I did finally catch up with the owner. The owner and I met out on site yesterday. At this point in time, I know that there's one that is in really bad disrepair where they have tape out across of it because someone ran into the front porch. So starting within the next 7 days, he's going to be tearing every one of them down. So it may take a process over the next several months, obviously, for them to be tore down. And obviously, he did ask that we could waive the grass and seeded once he started to tear them down until the spring. So he is actually, and under that, that was his just concern that he starts to tear them down under the demo ordinance. They're required within 3 months. And because it's starting in December, how are we going to enforce that as far as they don't meet that criteria? They have not met the demo. So, but he is in the process of starting to tear them down with that property. And I believe that property is 1459.
Okay. So, is your recommendation that we take a wait and see approach here with these properties as well?
Yeah, I am very confident. Like I said, I did meet with the owner on site regarding this. He does have a possible tentative plan for all of those properties. So he is moving forward with tearing them down, and he wants to basically clean that up.
These properties all meet the conditions of blight under the ordinance currently. I mean, they're disconnected utilities and all those kind of things. In one way or another, they all meet the terms.
He actually does have one, I believe it's 1479, which is still occupied, but it is blighted property. But he is working on finalizing the tenant being out of there. And like I said, he has a tentative thought process of a plan for that. And he's going to start tearing them down within the next 7 days, one at a time.
Okay. My understanding is we could not do anything with 1479 if it was occupied because that was a
correct
of blight. Okay, Councilman Palizzi, I saw you had a question.
Yes, thank you very much. Mr. Nar, did the property owner give you kind of a tentative time frame, or hey, we're going to start demolition, December 14th, and we expect it to take, just so we have something to actually hold the property owner accountable to, so we don't get, so we're not chasing a carrot on a stick?
Right.
I did ask that same question of him. I did actually speak with his demolition expert as far as who's going to be demoing that. And he assured me within the next 10 days, they will start to begin demoing the first house. He said, again, when the next ones are going to happen, it all depends on what they get into as far as within each demo. So, but it will start, the first demo should start within the next 7 to 10 days. And I did speak with Mr. Eck on that property, and he assured me that that is going to happen.
Okay, and then I guess and Tony, I saw your hands up. The only other follow-up question I would have, if I may, is does he have an estimated time for all of these properties to be demoed? I mean, this isn't going to drag out until 2024 or whatever it may be to have them all taken down.
No, it is my understanding with the conversation I had with him is he has a plan for those properties. That's why he wants to get them tore down and is working on that, so it won't be drug out. He assured me that.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you very much.
Mr. Nardi.
So, Gary, my question was, does he actually have demo permits for all of them?
Right.
Oh,
That he just, again, I spoke with Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards is coming in next week for that demo, and we're going to do one at a time as far as a demo permit.
all right.
So
Wait, can we just clarify? So there will just be, he's only getting a demo permit for one of them.
No, he's applying for all of them, but he's going to be demoing only one at a time.
Right, but so he's gonna apply for the permit for all of them.
That is what it was Mr. Eck did tell me that. And I did speak with Mr. Edwards, and Mr. Edwards is actually coming in to apply. He's the demo excavator that's doing it.
And if I may I ask one follow-up question? It's unclear to me, has this committee already voted on these properties and
No.
deemed them as blight?
No,
So
No, they
why are we not, well, are they blighted?
yes,
And so basically, this isn't how it normally works, right? Normally, we would vote on a property and then the owner would respond. Are they just being proactive, or?
I actually, again, I have reached out to Mr. Eck because of the one situation where the porch is really in disrepair. He finally reached out to me this week. He got back into town. And when I went up on site, we looked at it. So he is being proactive because, again, he has a tentative plan for future development for that. And he's ready to move forward and get them down.
Yeah, my question is really not about what his plans are, but rather what is the process of this and the obligation of this committee? That's all.
We were asked to basically bring this up for a discussion. So therefore, I just kind of wanted to inform everybody. They technically could have been put on and acted on for the blighted property, but Mr. Eck has come forward after my conversation with him to basically go ahead and do this.
So could any citizen do that, right? So and I guess mine is just a question of process and fairness. I'm not suggesting I know the answer, but.
No, well, Jen, I don't know if this is that. I mean, this is the first time we've seen them. Whether that should be the case or not is a separate discussion. This is the first time we've seen them, but if we've got someone already about to pull a permit, it seems like a lot of work for solicitors and stuff like that to not, if we're going to make a good faith effort to do that. Now, I think if we meet a month from now, a permit was pulled and there's no compelling reason why the demolition didn't occur, and the permit was approved by council, which I would hope they would expedite, then I think my suggestion is going to be that we table all of these for consideration at the December meeting.
That makes sense.
But I wanted to let other people ask questions before I recommend that motion be offered by one of you.
If I may, just from council, our next council meeting is not going to be convened until December 8th. So at that point in time, I would expect that this would be on the agenda. So just to give the property owner that much time.
And demolition permits only need one reading, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And during that process, obviously with the demos, We'll take a picture of the front and the side and the rear of the house for council, along with the demo application, and it'll go before council on December 8th for one reading.
So are you looking for a motion, Pat?
But not yet. I would, do you have further questions on these properties, series of properties? Mrs. McDonald? Oh, okay. I thought you had your hand up before. All right. No, so then I would entertain a motion to table I would not add 1479 on that, but some sort of motion to table the first 6 of those properties on the agenda, since 1479 does not meet the conditions of blight currently today, because it has an occupant.
So I will make the motion to table properties 1455, 59, 61, 63, 65, and 71 West 4th Street properties, and table them until our next meeting.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Nardi. Any opposed to that motion? A motion carries. So Mr. Nar will look to see those on the agenda again. Hopefully you'll be able to tell us they don't need to be there anymore because Steinbacher or whoever has parked a dozer out in front of them. If you see a Steinbacher sign in front of your house, get your stuff out.
There you go. It would be Edwards, but I understand the meaning.
Okay. Any other? I guess exhausts our new business. Well, we got comments from the committee. I'm not sure why that's a separate line item. We'll have to address that. All right. So our scheduled business is done. Any new business, Mr. Nar, before I get comments from the committee?
The only thing as far as new business is I just wanted to kind of inform everyone that, and I know Mr. Marty, you had sent an email in regarding the 823 Hepburn Street properties, which they've classified them as the Three Sisters.
Yes.
Close to Fusion Corner. I did meet myself and interim BCO did meet with a contractor, and I have spoken with the actual owner of the property. And what we're doing is we did a walkthrough of the facility. We did see that there was some concern as far as structural wise. The owner has now hired an engineer to come in and give it an evaluation of that. Once that evaluation is complete and we feel that it meets that for repair, then he will be taking out building permits for the 823 property to move forward with that. So I just kind of wanted to give you an update. I know you had questions saying that there's nothing being taken on that, but I finally did get with the owner. And I did meet this past week with the contractor as well as Matt Walter, our interim BCO. And we are confident that they need an engineer drawing for some of the fire damage with the roof structure. So they're going to provide that to us. Once we have that and we're confident with that, at that point, we'll be issuing permits for them to move forward to renovate that and bring that back into an occupancy.
Okay, so that by recollection, and again, this is where that spreadsheet will help. This is one that we have certified it. No, we had a hearing. We gave them an extension, correct? And that extension I'm gonna think it was overdue in October.
That is correct. And again, that's when I mean, we can put it on the Blighted. You can
I think we need to have an action to either to continue another, 3 months based on your recommendation of whether this is a good faith effort or not, or
Is this already on the list?
No, this is not on the blighted property list that I'm aware of. Yes, it is. It is. Actually, it is on the blighted property. I'm sorry. 823, which is 720011118. It is on the blighted property, and I just wanted to give you an update on that. I know you guys gave you a suspension of October. I have been trying to reach the owner. I finally got with the owner contractor, and we did a site visit, and I spoke with both the engineer as well as Mr. Hyman, who is the owner of the property, and he assured me that they are going to diligently move forward with getting this fixed up so that we can get it removed from the blighted property and get it occupied.
Okay, so that actually that one we need to get that on the agenda to take some action in December. Then, Mr. Memmi, you have some more details, I think.
Yes, if I may, hopefully this will clear it up. This has already gone to the redevelopment authority. The redevelopment authority issued the certified letter and indicating that the authority could potentially take action And we received confirmation from the Hyman Group that they were in the midst of working to remedy the situation. So this has gone from the blighted properties list all the way to the redevelopment authority, and the authority did vote to take action, and the certified letters were sent out. Whether that helped motivate the Hyman Group, I don't know.
Okay, so that one's out of our hands then. That's
Correct.
really between I should know that because I'm a redevelopment authority, but we've been dealing with other issues there. Okay, so that one then. Okay, that's a redevelopment authority issue then, I guess, at this point. All right, I guess I'm confusing properties because I feel like there was one that we granted an extension to.
That was the extension, and I think that was the next one was going to be the Memorial Street School.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about that one. What's the status of that one? That's the one where he was something with roofing materials, as I recall.
Correct. And what the issue was is he has come in and applied for a permit. The issue of it is obviously with the supply and demand, getting the material to get that fixed up. I gave an extension was given to him. However, it has passed. He has applied for a permit. It's just getting the materials at this point in time. I do know that we also had a discussion because he's going through that permit process with the same scenario with Matt Walter, our BCO, that wanted some additional drawings. So he's working on getting those additional drawings. But that property has passed the extension that the blighted property did give him.
Okay, Mr. Pelisi.
Thank you. No, I believe, and Gary, please feel free to step in and correct me if my memory is not quite on. We had the property owner on, and this is back when Mr. Girardi was still here with the city. He was asking to appeal the decision to put the property on blighted list, at which point in time, I believe somewhat during the conversation, he had said that he had already done work, and I think Robin may have pulled, and there was never a record of a permit being taken out for the work. He conveyed the plans to do work and turn this into, I believe, apartments and projects, to which I think he was informed that, that kind of blueprint, that the design would then require the building to have sprinkler systems and some other things that I don't believe that he was aware of that would be needed. So it was just trying to provide a little bit of context. So I believe right now, Mr. I think it's Regan is in the middle of, is he redesigning this to, or coming back with new prints?
That is correct. Again, like I said, the conversation was had with the interim BCO. This is what he's going to require in order for him to basically provide us with new updated plans, engineered drawings. He knows that he's now going to have to sprinkler the building and things of that nature. So we are awaiting the comments from him or the plans from him as far as what he's going to do so that we could work on issuing permits. But at this point, that's what we're waiting on, is engineered plans and a new set of blueprints as far as what he's doing. And he is now aware that there are other criteria that he's going to need, that he's just not coming in for a building permit and moving forward.
Okay.
I think, and I'm sorry, I was going to say, I think it might be pertinent for this committee if, we had this conversation initially with the property owner regarding the status and these plans several months ago. I can't remember exactly how long ago, but I think it may be pertinent to put this on the next meeting agenda to bring this up, that if we haven't seen any progress, any plans or anything, that, we may consider moving forward and taking action, just to keep these projects moving on and that they don't become a long drawn out process. Of course, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Mrs. Wilson, go ahead.
So I just want to, again, the process was, we sent him a letter. Did we certify him as certified as blight in that letter?
Yes, that was sent certified to him. He'd asked for a hearing. During the hearing, you gave him an extension. The extension has passed. So, and he has done nothing other than he has applied for a permit. And he had a discussion with myself and the BCO, the interim BCO, as far as what he needs to do to
Yeah.
make that plan come into action. So that's where we stand.
Can you tell us when we took action to, when we sent the letter that so we said it was blighted, and then when was the hearing?
When was it?
Back in April.
The letter was
And
sent
the
to him in
extension
April.
was-
There was a hearing, and I believe the extension was for October.
So,
That does sound right. I think we granted him was it 6-month extension
Correct.
to get all of his affairs in order and to come to us with a plan.
And so he has not done what he was supposed to do in the time frame.
Correct. We do not have, at this point in time, we do not have an official plan for him to be moving forward with the building permit.
And so has he requested another extension, or is it just,
He is not. I've reached out to him and I have got nothing back from him.
so we need to move forward with it.
Correct.
Okay, so let's get that on the agenda in December then, Mr. Nar, as well. And
I thought that one was on the agenda for today, no?
no,
No, we do not.
1524 Memorial.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna address the fact that this is all obviously material information, but the bottom line is the extension has been exhausted. So we need to consider whether we grant another extension or we send this to the redevelopment authority. As you know, his hearing has been heard. He did not comply with the terms and we're moving forward and it's now in the redevelopment authority's hands. I think those are the decisions that we have before us in December.
Yeah.
Is that
Correct.
everyone's understanding? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and don't we think he should have to ask for the extension? If he wants an extension, shouldn't he
he
have to
should.
request it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Pelisi.
I just merely, if we were done talking about this particular property, and I think maybe I'm getting ahead of Mr. Nar, there was one other property that I think you and I spoke about as far as the status of, which was 739 Park Ave.
743 is on the redevelopment authority.
No, is it, I think 739 Park Ave, the property pretty much right across from the community garden.
That, yeah, that,
Or I'm sorry, it is
that is
743. My
743,
apologies.
and that is on the redevelopment authorities. I did, again, been trying to reach out to these owners and finally getting some headway and at least getting them to call me back. And she has done some minor stuff with it, and she's basically just going to put it on the auction block with Rome. After the first of the year was my last conversation with her, probably about 2 weeks ago.
I have a question about the property that had the collapse, maybe in the high winds, maybe 3 months ago. It's in the historic district.
Grace Street.
Grace Street, yes, correct,
Was it-
on the south side of Grace Street, I believe. Yeah, it is on the south side of Grace Street, kind of the back end goes towards where the that donor clinic is, that used to be the Wise Market. What's did they make the repairs and has that been reoccupied? I have not driven by there. I'm just kind of curious that, that could have been more catastrophic certainly than it was.
I'll confirm it, but I believe that was demoed.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
yes, I think that was demo.
Okay.
That was my
that's-
recollection too, but
Yeah, I haven't been down Grace Street in a while. I just thought of it as we were talking about these others, just ones that, okay, great. That's easily handled then. Mr. Pelisi.
If I may just suggest or ask for the next meeting, if we could have an updated list of our blighted properties that could be included with the agenda and kind of the property status of the property.
Mr. Nar has promised that we'll have that document. It's going to do a spreadsheet, as I know Mrs. Wilson had asked originally for when she first came on the committee, that's got the properties, the statuses, and then we also asked that they add a link to the Lycoming County mapping GIS system so we can kind of represent that. So I think that will help us be a little
And what I can say is just on, sorry, what I can just say is on paper is as of right now, other than ones we were just discussing, I only have 3 on the list of blighted property. The rest of them now belong to the redevelopment authority. The ones that will still remain on the blighted is 2701 West 4th Street, 1650 Andrews Place, and 717 Second Ave. And I will have all of that information in an Excel spreadsheet for the next blighted property review.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Is the
Norman.
former Saab dealership at the Fowler Motors one of those 3 addresses? There's no utilities hooked up to that building.
The demo you were gonna check on that one.
It's,
I'm going to go back through the records. Like I said, I know I don't have it, and I think that there is no utilities on it.
yeah, it's overgrown
Yeah.
with, I mean, it's 20 years now.
Right.
Because Saab has not been a going concern for 15 years. I like to get the word Saab in the minutes whenever possible.
Is that the 423 East 3rd? Is that the address of the Saab, the formal
don't know.
Saab?
Very good.
I had to do it.
But you know which one I'm talking about. And next to, there's like a,
It would be East Third.
I believe it's on the lot on the corner of Penn Street and East 3rd Street.
yeah,
That's the one
it's
referring to.
probably 300 block.
Yeah, I don't think it would be the 400 block. Wasn't there a demo? Wasn't that one that he pulled a demo permit on, Mr. Nar?
We are looking into an exterior demo permit on that, and I'll follow up with you at that point.
Okay, maybe that one ought to be on our agenda as well.
Okay.
I mean, assuming your officer
You
certified.
mean a saw building?
Yes. Assuming your officers again certify, we're reliant upon the subject matter experts in your department to tell us that it meets the conditions of blight per the ordinance and the state law. So
I already put a note to have one of the officers go out tomorrow.
thank you. Mr. Mimi.
Just point of clarification, if I can, with Gary. Gary, I only have 3 properties that the RDA has taken action on. One was the 823 Hepburn property. One was the 1021 Louisa Street. And the third one is the 2218 Mosser Avenue properties. If there are other properties that were supposed to be on the RDA's review, if I could be forwarded that information so I can get it on.
Yeah, there's a rural avenue address for sure that should have been.
Again, like I said, I'll do the Excel spreadsheet, but I'm looking at 743 Park Avenue, 1517 Memorial, 1534 Memorial Ave, 928 High Street, and the 2218 Mosser Ave are all, for our record, showing belonging to the RDA. So Skip, I'll see that you get those. And what I'll do is I'll go out to each one of these and take pictures so that you all can see them and have an idea of what we're talking about.
We'll get it
Mr.
on
Nar.
the December RDA agenda, Mr. Marty.
And Mr. Nar, it might be wise just to make sure that there are minutes backing up those properties that we actually voted on.
But we do have minutes.
Okay,
Minutes backing up. So, and you actually have a copy of them as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay, yeah, this is, I'm glad that we're tightening this up because let's be honest, the redevelopment authority has not had any money to actually acquire these properties, so it's a bit, it's
Chicken before the egg.
yeah. However, there's both the administration and members of council have, strongly supported the idea of the redevelopment authority having funding to go forward. And so I would anticipate that there's going to be a move to actually make an acquisition of one or more of these properties in the future, which hopefully will, wake people up that this is a for real thing that can occur if you don't take care of your property and you jeopardize your neighbors' health, safety, and welfare. So I think that's important. But for us to do that, we're going to need to be on stronger legal ground than I think we are today with some of our processes in the past. Because the worst thing that can happen is it goes to court and we don't, we not only pay a bunch of legal fees, but we're not on good legal footing to acquire that property. And so now the process gets a black eye. We cost a lot of money to the people, and the situation didn't get remedied. And those are the three things we can't have happen. So I think that this, our new processes moving forward will allow us to do that. And if there are some votes that we have to go back and take and review again, then I would rather do that and make sure we're correct. You know, it's been a kind of a fantasy in the past that you're going to take someone's property from redevelopment authority when it doesn't have any money, but it is going to have money, and it's going to be for real. Yes,
And if
Mr.
I can, and if I can add to that again, that's why when I reached out to Austin this morning regarding Zoom or in person, him and I had that discussion to sit down and see basically, so that I'm aware and you will be aware of what all the legal processes we have, so that we move forward, taking these properties and not have these type of issues. So he assured me that the beginning of next week, him and I'll sit down.
That's great. Okay. Any other questions, comments from members of the committee? Yes, sir.
Just one quick comment, and that is to say thank you to both Gary and Robin. I know in our current status of what we're going through and dealing with, you're having to wear several hats going through, and just wanted to say thank you. We appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Thank
for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hearing nothing else and having gone through all the agenda, we are adjourned. Thank you. Mr. Black, you can take us out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Have a
good
great day,
day.
everyone.
Have a
You
good day.
too.